Do you remember the very first song you ever wrote?
Yeah. It's called I Lost My Little Girl. And it was G,
like?
G7, and C. And he went. And that was the theme of it. And it just went, a lot of that. And it was called I Lost My Little Girl. And it had some immortal lines in it, like her hair didn't even curl. I thought that was good at the time. Gone off it since, of course. 14, I was, yeah. And a half.
How do you write songs? I mean, do you need a special setting, a special atmosphere?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I just like writing songs. It's a hobby, almost, you know. Even if I didn't have to do it, I still do it. It's a nice thing to do, nice thing to be able to do.
Do you have any idea of how many songs you wrote?
No.
No?
I've never counted, no. It's a lot. I've written a lot now.
Do you have any idols? I mean, not just musically, but in any field?
Yeah, but it's always hard when an interviewer asks you a question like that. I can never think. It goes blank, you know. But always going home in the car, I can always think of them all. Idols, well, musically, you know, I've got a lot. Not in music, footballers and things, certain.
Like who?
Oh, you know, Kenny Dalglish, pretty good.
Who's that?
Liverpool. Good team. Just one, you see. So we're very up at the moment. Yeah, I like a lot of people. I like some actors and stuff. I can't really think who I like at the moment.
Another side of Paul McCartney is being a rock publisher. Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, but I understand that the publishing you're interested in is mostly the very first rock songs.
No, it's really the question, you have to answer it by, if you make any money in any country, you can't just keep it. You've got to do something with it, right? You know. Yeah. So some people will get shares, buy stocks and shares in things. Or some people will get an interest in a brush factory, like somebody I know. One songwriter, you know, he owns a bit of a brush factory, just because they have to have these other interests. But in my case, I wanted to keep it musical, just because it's what I understand and what I love. So we got a song publishing company that has my songs, and has, in the early rock, it has Buddy Holly in America. So most of the stuff's in America. But we also have some Hoagy Carmichael songs, some Duke Ellington songs, and older catalogue, which is the most of it's really an old-fashioned catalogue of things like Hello Dolly, stuff like that, which is great, you know, and songs like After You Gone, you know, it's written in like 1912. Some of it's really old, but it's great. Tenderly, you know the song Tenderly?
What's happening with Wings at this point?
They're flying around various places. Yeah, this album, George and I decided that we wouldn't work with Wings, that we would get more freedom. So at the moment, Wings are working various places. Denny has his own band. I think he's going to Europe. And Steve, the drummer's working in America. One of the other guys working in America. They're working in different places.
You go to concerts, I mean, you watch people live?
No, I don't go to concerts much. Not a lot, just occasionally. But mainly now, you know, I like to spend time at home. Because I got 4 kids, and I got to find some time to see them. So if I was working here all day, then I go to concerts at night, and then I get home late, and the kids are all in bed, and then I get up late, and they're all at school. So I got to find time for them, so I don't go out much. Stay in, get the fire banked up, get the telly on, get a drink, see the kids. Can't be bad, lads.
That's another image of Paul McCartney.
It's good, though, isn't it?
I understand the album was recorded in Montserrat. Why Montserrat?
Because the producer I'm working with, who's the old Beatle producer, George Martin, has a studio out there. And it's a very good studio. And it's near America. so that we were using some American people. So we went over there to record, and we could get the American people to the studio easily. And it's like this studio, but set in paradise. So it's hard to refuse.
There are a certain number of guest stars on this album. Can you tell us more about them?
Yeah, well, the original one was Stevie Wonder, and I had a song called Ebony and Ivory, which is about black and white notes on the keyboard. And the idea was that it's no good to just have all the black notes, or it's no good to just have all the white notes. The idea is you put them together and you get a harmony. I heard that said by a fellow called Spike Milligan once, who's one of our British intellectuals. And I wrote a song called Ebony and Ivory about black and white people and the piano. And so I wanted somebody black to sing it with. I would do the white, unless he would white up and I would black up, but we decided against that. So he was the choice, Stevie Wonder. So Stevie was the first guest star, and he came to Montserrat and sang with me. And then there was Stanley Clarke came out, and then there was Steve Gadd, and then there was Carl Perkins. There's a Le Nouveau album de Paul McCartney. Le Nouveau album dont le disque plastique.
Is there a song that you really like that never made it commercially, or vice versa?
That I wrote, or
yeah, that you wrote.
Yeah, plenty. Plenty. There was one I used to like called Woman by Peter and Gordon. I used to like that one, but that didn't do it. There are a couple of others, but that's the main one. Don't know if you ever remember it. No, you wouldn't.
I don't remember. I know I wouldn't.
It didn't make it.
It didn't make it.
But it was a nice song.
Well, as you remember,
yes.
Apart from one
What
song,
was that question again?
Apart from one song, you never went political.
Yeah, normally, because I used to look at performers, and when they stopped their singing and were very political, I used to think that somehow it wasn't the right place for it. You know, when Sammy Davis Jr. stops and does a big thing about blacks and civil rights, I used to think, maybe it's better if he just entertains, and then when he does interviews, maybe he should get political. Maybe it's the wrong place. But in my case, I was never going to do it until in Ireland, the Bloody Sunday arrived and the British paratroopers started shooting innocent people. And it was a big change in policy. So I just had to write a song about that. You know, it's the only time I really had to. Be that direct, and it really is just, if I can't help it, it has to be political. But normally I don't feel very political in my songs. You know, maybe I can think it here, but it never comes into songs unless something really bad like that happens. You know, it makes me want to say something, and it got banned everywhere. You know, the British government wouldn't allow the song. It wasn't a serious thing anyway. But it was #1 in Spain.
If you had some advice to give to these young people who are trying to make music, what would you say? What would you tell them?
Don't know, really. I think they'll do everything that they want to do anyway, without advice from me, if they're any good. They won't listen to me anyway. But maybe the one thing would be to know what you're going to do before you go in the studio, to know how the song goes and know how it is, because you can waste a lot of time in studios. And if you're a new group, it's very good to know exactly what you're doing in the studio. It saves time, it makes people happier, and you can make a better record maybe because of that. But that's all, really.
Are you afraid of death in any special circumstances?
Who, me? Afraid of death? No! Of course I am.
Where?
Of course I am. Like everyone's afraid of death, aren't they?
Yeah, but in any special circumstances?
Oh, no, no, no. I mean, you mean like John, you mean? No, not afraid of that. I just, I'm like anyone, you know, I'm the same as anyone, you know, I just, I don't fancy it. If there's any alternative you can think of, I'd be willing to listen. But it doesn't appear to be. So, I mean, it doesn't worry me unduly, but it worries me just like it worries you.
Yeah, but I meant on stage, for example.
No.
No.
No. We used to get all of that, you know, it's just, it's an occupational hazard. It's, I mean, we went on a tour of America in the early Beatle days, and, well, Canada it was. In fact, it was French-speaking Canada. It was Quebec, you know, the French bit. And somebody there, one of the Frenchmen, who didn't like the Queen, warned that they were going to shoot Ringo, you know. So Ringo had to go through the whole tour, he just keeping down behind his cymbals, you know. But what can you do? You know, when the time comes to die, that's it, you know. Nothing I can say about it, you know. I don't worry about it. It's like I saw Muhammad Ali was asked that question, you know. He says, when Muhammad says it's time, I mean, that's about how I feel, really, you know. There's nothing I can do about it. Obviously, I don't want to get shot. I don't know anyone who does.